But you can't whisper.
Hey, we're live.
Got it.
We're working on volume situations. See, Topaz wants to know about the volume. You can come up here closer if you want.
I think.
Do you want me to move this closer?
I don't want to do it. Then I can't get you guys in the same picture.
Alright, I'll move closer. How do you pronounce your last name? Adizes?
Close. Adizes.
Adizes.
Yeah.
Like if I had
Think
too much
3
to
cheeses.
drink,
Yeah.
I'd be like, Adizes.
Think 3 cheeses. Oh Jesus. Adizes.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to
That's
drink 3 cheeses, oh Jesus,
Adizes.
Adizes. 3 cheeses, oh Jesus, Adizes. Okay, I got it. So your last name. So this is Topaz Jesus. Are you guys good here?
Yeah.
It's live. Yeah, it's rolling.
We're rolling. Oh my God, we're in. Here we go. I'm sitting here with Topaz Adizes.
That's good.
Let's just do this. He's a filmmaker, but more than that, he's this, like, I want to call him a social innovator because he has come up with this genius concept that I still can't quite wrap my head around. It's hard to understand what it is, but you can wrap your hand around it by watching his Emmy Award-winning documentary. Is it considered a documentary?
It's an interactive documentary called The And, like you and me, so The And.
Think about that, an interactive documentary. So Topaz says to me a few minutes ago, he's like, so you're watching a show, what do you watch? I was like, well, I watch House of Cards. He's like, you're watching House of Cards. Why should I and you and him and her, why should we all watch the same episode? You should watch something based on you. And I couldn't even understand what that meant. He goes, well, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So why don't you explain to me a little bit about what interactive programming, if you will, is all about?
So I could say, like, so I'm Topaz and I'm kind of started this creative studio called The Skin Deep. And we have a lot of talent. I work with a really talented team. Super stoked to work with them. They're awesome. And we create experiences. That's what we do. We are a creative studio focused on human connection. Because right now, like, the way that your kids are growing up and the way they're going to communicate is totally different than the way you're communicating.
How?
Well, think about it. I mean, they are like your 3-year-old Quinn? Harper, like, this is natural for her.
Right.
She's gonna, if we bring her like a cell phone, like a phone, she's not gonna know what that looks like.
Right, she already does.
She already does this, and she might be even more intuitive with this than you are. So you might be teaching her, she might be teaching you something, and she's 3 or 4. I mean, you see this at the Mac store.
Yeah.
At the Genius Bar. Who's at the Genius Bar? It's not kids.
Right.
It's older people who are being taught by young people.
Right.
So how does that change the dynamic? How does that change the power dynamic, the information dynamic? Like, you're gonna give me advice, Dad, when you don't even know how to work the iPhone?
Right.
Or even, like, if we look at this, just there are certain things that are happening now in society that didn't happen 15 years ago.
Correct, but there are certain things that don't ever change, like love, for one. Love hasn't changed.
Love it, but maybe the way we express it.
Okay.
So if I have a brother, he's 21, his name's Sapphire. Well, my brother,
Your brother's name is Sapphire?
Yeah, my other brother's name's Onyx. So we're all like stone. We're all rocks.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You're Topaz, Sapphire, and Onyx?
Yeah, that's like the story. So Sapphire's like 21, and I'm nearly.
Deal with that for a second.
I'm 40, right?
Okay.
And the way my brother Sapphire communicates is totally different than how I communicate. I mean, we're like 3 years ago, we're talking, and he's like, "Oh, let me show you SoundCloud. Well, check this out on YouTube. Check." And I'm like, can you just look me in the eye?
Right.
Can we have this connection? He's like, why are you ruining my multimedia presentation?
Right.
Like, I want to. Part of my expression is to access this.
Right.
You know, and so the way we are communicating is shifting, and like, he can, when he's, he has, I'm sure you know now, like, who leaves voicemails anymore?
Yeah, nobody. I don't even check voicemails.
You don't even check voicemails. So this thing of like texting communication is different than the voicemails, which is different than used to be eye to eye. My grandfather used to reprimand me when I'd be on the phone. He'd be like, why are you on the phone? You only talk on the phone to set up times to meet with somebody in person, right?
Right.
Now, we don't even go on the phone, we just text. And how often are we meeting in person?
Right.
So I'm just saying that, like, because of technology, everything's shifting, and because of that, we're exploring how we're connecting. It's changing.
Okay.
And so the way we're doing is that we create experiences, and those experiences can be done. It's like, if you're like, let's do a short-term experience, like a short-term memory, like Alzheimer's, then we're like, okay, well, what's the best way to like execute that? Would it be a Periscope experience? Would it be like a VR experience? Would it be like a Facebook Live? Or would it be Snapchat? Maybe Snapchat would fit best because it's like last 6 seconds, and we can really play with people's experience because
it's right there.
It's like, it's the closest thing. Long story short, we created, the first experience we made was called The End.
Okay, so maybe I'll understand it a little better, and
Yeah.
people will if you explain to me, like the way you did over there. What is the and? What is it based on?
So basically, the and is a relationship isn't you or me, and it's not him or her. It's not Romeo or Juliet. It's you and me. It's him and her. It's Romeo and Juliet. It's the and. It's the space between that connects them.
Uh-huh.
So what if we could take the user, the viewer, you and me, and put you in the space between, in the and, of all these other relationships you never have access to. A deaf couple. A couple who've been married for 10 years and they're 40 years different in age. Transgender couple. So what we did is, the and is exactly that. It's that experience.
Yeah.
And what we did is we took couples of all shapes and sizes and persuasions and structures and everything. In the States. And we had them sit across from each other with a low bench, and they basically just ask each other the questions that you really want to know but are too scared to ask. Am I the best sex you ever had? What's one thing I can do to improve our relationship?
Oh.
What are you hesitant to tell me? What would you do if I ever cheated on you? Was there a time that you wanted to leave, and why didn't you?
These questions.
These are real questions. Now what we do is we film them with 3 cameras, so that you, as a viewer, when you're watching it, what you're doing is you're seeing at the very least 2 frames, both their faces at the same time. Because right now the audience is watching you and I, they kind of see our profiles.
Right.
They don't really know what our faces are saying to each other than when we look like this, right?
Right.
So when you watch the and video, you're seeing both the faces at the same time. So it doesn't matter what they say. It's not about what you say. It's about the moments in between.
Yeah.
It's about the facial reaction.
Yes.
And by doing that, we get to put you, the viewer, in that space between.
Wow.
And that's what won the Emmy last year. We had Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway play it for like their collaboration on The Intern. We had something go viral last year that went crazy viral for like 15 million views in a week, and 2 videos, and it was like, it's a really moving experience because it's like an empathizing machine.
Okay.
It's an empathy tool, and I think what I mean by that is like, look, if we take 2 people who are having a conversation and you can feel the connection between them. I mean, there's a connection between all of us.
Right.
Just like magnets.
Right.
Sometimes we feel it, sometimes we don't, but it doesn't mean it's not there. And through this experience, you can we ask questions off that relationship, and you can actually feel the connection between people. And you as a user gets access to that experience. So then, by seeing that, you see like, what's their world like? Do I want to have that world?
Right. So it's based on, it's watching other people so that you can use that to somehow influence or better your own perception or relationship or anything.
So like, so one thing I realized this weekend was like, when you give advice to somebody, what advice are you giving them?
It's based on my life and my experiences.
Or the experience of like, a friend of mine did this.
Right.
Or I saw a documentary and it did this. Or I saw this movie or read a book, it's fictional, but you know, maybe it works.
Right.
Every advice that we give is based off of some life experience. So what we're doing now is we're creating this gigantic library of experiences that can be accessible by anybody. So you could type in, you know, severe depression, and you can get 5 videos of other people in relationships who are dealing with that.
In relationships.
In relationships.
It's like the Wikipedia of social experiments.
Yeah. Wikipedia of human relationships.
Wow.
So that's what we're building right now. We got 2 things. We have a Kickstarter that ends next week that we're raising money to build for that.
How do people get onto the Kickstarter? What is it called?
Just go to theskindeep.com, and then you'll see an option of like, do Kickstarter.
Okay, this is amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
And the next one?
And the next thing is we have 5 shows this weekend at BAM, so you should come out.
Okay.
We have a live show of the end, where basically we take like, in this case it's going to be 80 people, and we're going to create this real intimate experience where like, we're basically stepping into each other's like worlds, and it's epic, man. It's epic. We did it last year at Tribeca Interactive. We did it for 1,800 people in Amsterdam twice. We did it in Miami, LA, Aspen.
And are you supposed to come out with your significant other? You come out by yourself?
So we have a regular show. You can show up any way you want. Friday night at 9:30, we have a date night, so you can bring your significant other. Saturday night at 9:30 is a singles night. But otherwise, Friday 7 o'clock, Saturday 7 o'clock, and Sunday at 5 is a regular show. So basically, like, you want to come?
Yeah, I want to come.
You gotta get a babysitter. You know.
That's what I need. The babysitter is the bane of my existence, is getting the babysitter.
Right.
Wow, this is really... How did you come up with an idea like this?
Why?
I mean, it makes sense when you talk about it, but I would never think it's this or this. I never think about the and the and is really the most important part.
I don't know. We have a talented group of people we work with. We all sit around and we like, okay, well, then we have a really brainstorm and we work together and come up with dope shit.
You really do.
Yeah.
So, go on. Talk to me more about the interactive part.
The interactive part is that basically, like, look, this thing right now, this is my cell phone, right? It's a great tool for me, and I can open it up and I can work it. And I'm doing this all day on my cell phone. It's a tool for me. But if I give this to you, like, what's it to you? It's a white disc, but you can't even log into it.
Right.
I mean, literally, it's just a disc. You can't even use it. It's not even useful for you. So a lot of us, I mean, we're even filming this off iPhones. Like, a lot of us are doing this all day and getting information this way. And it's custom made to us. It's like a tool for us. It reacts to us. It's about us.
Right.
Why isn't content like that? So, House of Cards, you watch House of Cards, I watch House of Cards, we all watch House of Cards.
Right.
House of Cards is not going to change. If you go back to it in a year from now, House of Cards is still the same. It doesn't change. What if it did?
But how?
Well, so what we did is the end is that, in theory, it should change. Every time you play it, it should be organic and adjust to you. Just like your cell phone almost adjusts to you. You want to send an email or tweet, it's about you, reflects about you.
So you're filming multiple different scenarios at the
No,
end?
what we do is, that would be customized. That would be like customized, and that's bullshit. Sorry, but that's not real. What is a real experience is, we, for the first, with the end now, if you go to it now, which we launched.
Oh, because it's live.
No.
Oh.
We filmed 40 couples. Now we're at 150. But back then, we started with 40. Now, all these 40s, they take a question, they ask, and they talk. Now, we cut those down to 20 to 30 second answer questions, right? So that's like one data point. And we have 300-400 of them. And we tag each data point with a value, metadata. Like, this is about intimacy, and it's also about fear. This is about depression. This is about drugs. This is about babies. This is about this. And we tag all these, so we have a huge data set, 300-400 data points. And we have a software. When you come to the site, you're going to answer 4 questions about how you experience love in a relationship. You know, an extra room is for a baby or for a workplace. Good sex is scratches on the back, lots of eye contact. The past, you want to remember or forget. You choose, answer 4 questions, and that tells the software, gives a floating point profile of who you are, and it goes into the data set, and on the fly, chooses like 5 or 6 clips, and boom, presents to you a custom-made film right there on the fly.
Okay, but how can you do that with already finished and produced programming, like House of Cards?
Oh, that's just thinking. It's just applying thinking to that. You would just reshape the House of Cards story. You don't go to House of Cards and you have to approach it as an interactive way. And our definition of interactive is that it has to be about you.
Okay.
If you play it and he plays it the same thing, it's not about you guys, and therefore it's not interactive.
Right.
A lot of people think interactive is choose your own adventure. That's not interactive, because that's like I'm choosing what the protagonist to do. True interactive is I'm choosing something about me by looking at other people's content.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I mean?
If I think about it a lot, I understand. So, like, how can people play around with it? Can they go onto your...
So, yeah, if you go to the and.us, that's where you
the and.us, okay.
.us, that's where you can get this interactive experience. That's about you, and it will make a film about how you experience love in a relationship. And then you can watch this huge catalog of all these other couples, talking to each other. And then you can actually also play the game with someone in your life. So people end up playing this site for 3 hours.
Wow.
Like, you can go home and play with your man, with your partner, and like see this video, see all this catalog, and be like, you know what, let's play. And you literally like share the questions back and forth, and it creates an intimate space for a new conversation. So that's what the and.us does.
Right.
And also every week on our YouTube channel, which is Skin Deep, is our YouTube channel, we post a video every week. And man, I gotta tell you, they're amazing stories.
Really?
Like you will binge on this stuff. Like we know that because that's what people do, and they tell us about it.
Yeah.
This last weekend was epic. Is that we brought 10 people from around the world to train them in the format of the end. That's what the Kickstarter campaign is, to fund this so we can go global. Because right now we have all kinds of relationships in the States.
Yeah.
But what if we got that from like South Africa?
All over the world.
Ireland,
Wow.
Italy. What if we got all these stories? And all of a sudden you have this gigantic catalog of the human experience of what it's like to live on this planet right now in the 21st century.
Wow.
Like,
when did you know that you were onto something?
The very beginning, when I'm sitting in the room, I can't believe that people are like opening up, talking about this in front of cameras, and they're really opening up. And I started crying when we first tested it out, because I was like, wow, these people, like, they really talked.
Yeah.
and they really, because you kind of, the lights are there and you kind of fade out, and they really like open up and they go like, and they say like, oh, I didn't know that. Like we had one transgender conversation, Cat and Keith, that was on Glamour, because we licensed Glamour, and it was on Glamour 4 months. It was a transgender conversation where Keith's greatest fear was that his girlfriend Cat, if he didn't fully go through the transition to becoming a male in gender, she would leave him. That was his biggest fear. And he's asking her, how may I fail you? She's like, you can't. He's like, yeah, but what if I don't get a transition? She's like, I'll still stay with you. His biggest fear was that she would leave him.
And when she said she wouldn't?
He realized his biggest fear was a facade. And you catch that in 90 seconds, and you're in that experience between them. It's so moving. That was on Glamour 4 months before Caitlyn Jenner came out on Vanity Fair.
Wow.
So, and that's a mainstream publication for like, you know, heterosexual normative like relationships, and we're like injecting these new stories, these new things that we can all connect with. Because like this, like if I tell you a story like, look, I've been in jail and I was in solitary confinement, you can't relate to that experience. But if I'm talking to my brother about it, or my best friend, you can relate to a relationship of a best friend or a sister, or you know, you could. So it's the relationship. The fact that we can all connect to the relationship allows us to then empathize with the experiences that people had individually.
Right.
You know, that's how you can get. And that's why we're creating this empathy tool. Because if you're just talking about this happened to me, they're like, look, I don't know what jail is like. I don't know how to experience it. But what I can relate to is how does that affect the relationship between two people?
Yeah.
A father and a daughter.
Yes.
You know, mother and, you know. So that's why it's such a powerful tool, because you never know what the story is behind it.
Right.
But once you start connecting with their relationship, and then you start to learn the story, and you're like, holy shit, I would have never wanted to see that story.
And now
But now I'm into it.
For people that don't come this weekend, how can they see the end?
So basically I would say go to our YouTube site.
Okay.
The Skin Deep is our YouTube channel.
Is it all? It's there.
Yeah, it's all there. We got a lot of videos there, and if you know, that'll lead you. We're on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
It's _Skin Deep. But you should come this week. I think you trip.
I'm already sort of.
You'd love it. I mean, it's like.
And it's at BAM.
It's at BAM. We got 5 shows at BAM.
And BAM is the Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn Academy of Music. I mean, when you're in that taxi and you have that amazing conversation.
Yeah.
Or you're like walking down the street in New York and something happens where you like have this, you're like walking down the side, you had this amazing conversation, and you each go your separate ways.
Yes.
You know, those moments of connection with a random person, but like there's like fun to do.
Yes.
That's what this live experience is like. I mean, there's like people are up on stage and you see this and you're like, is this shit for real? Like, are these actors? Like, how are they saying these lines? How is this happening? The synchronicity of this conversation in front of all of us. How is that happening? Is this set up? And it's not set up. It just recreate this environment in which it happens. And it's, I mean,
is this something you've always wanted to do, or were you doing regular movies before this? I mean, did you have an idea? What
happened was, I gotta say, it's gonna sound a little cheesy, but basically like 3 years ago, I was at a Tony Robbins event.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go, Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Date with Destiny, and I thought it was all bullshit and all this, and but I was very fortunate to be like, and I realized a lot of things in that experience. But one thing I realized is that like I'm a story breaker, and I chose that story breaker. What does that mean? Because first I was like a film director. Oh yeah, and then I was a storyteller, image maker, and I'm like, no, I'm a story. What does that mean? We all tell ourselves stories. We all tell ourselves stories. Like this is why I act like this because this happened to me, or like my future looks like this because we all tell ourselves stories, right?
Right.
If you can create an experience, sometimes you come across a conversation, or you see something, you see a piece of work, a movie, a book, or something. You come across an experience that breaks your story, and by breaking the story, it allows you to reshape a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to create experiences that reshape people slightly, give them an opportunity to like say, like, well, what is the story I want to create? What is the thing that I want to build? And so that's what the end is like. You know, you tell, like, if I were to tell you, like, every relationship is like this. It's like, yeah, Topaz, that's because you're 50% of all the relationships in your life. But now you can go to the end and watch, like a voyeur, watch their world, see how they react, and go, well, shit, maybe relationships are not all like this.
Right.
Because they don't have that problem.
And then what it does, once again, it comes down to us, right? We're watching it not because we care about their relationships, but we want to see how it how we respond or how we react or how we are affected
Mhm.
or inspired or challenged by watching two other people.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, and it's like, what blows me away is like, because it's a startup, I got lower back problem. You know, you would
Yeah.
not be happy with
Not
my
be happy
performance.
with your performance at all.
No, but
No.
like, all the pressure's there. But like, I read through the commentary, they're like paragraphs of content. And there's something like our ratio is like sometimes it's like every 132 views, it's a winning comment. And the comment's like really important, and they're really talking to each other. And it's like, okay, this content is like, and it's from all around the world. It's like regards from Bahrain, from Australia, from South Africa. I mean,
Wow.
and it's just like, okay, you know, whatever the struggles are to keep a startup alive and funding and all this, and
Yeah.
we're doing this Kickstarter. It's not easy as for money, but like,
Right.
that's the stuff that fuels me, because you know that you're like echoing out and it's having an impact and conversation, and it's coming back.
Does your family, your friends, they get it? They understand all of it?
Well, I mean, come on, this is our first time talking. It's still like, for you, it's like most people are like, what the fuck is he
Yeah, you
talking
have to
about?
I have to go through it and kind of.
Yeah, and I
live
also
it,
talk
try.
fast and all excited. My team always laughs at me because they're like, you know, slow down, dude. Like, what are you not?
Yeah.
That just, yeah, I think the.
Like, could you do this with your parents, or like, are you in a relationship?
Oh, I did it with my dad.
You did?
I did it with my dad. I did it with my ex-girlfriend.
I'm sure it went really well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was like intimate.
Yeah. So anyone can do it with anyone.
Yeah, I mean, we take participants, but also we have an app. You can go to the website and play it. I mean,
Okay, so I want people to do this because it sounds really interesting, and it's
yeah.
a great way to learn about who you are, who this other person is, and the and between you, right? The space between you.
Space between.
Yeah.
Because basically, it's like we have like there's connection between everyone, and what we're doing is just sprinkling dust so you can see the rays of connection.
Yes.
By asking questions.
Love that.
You know.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna go to skindeep.us.
Skindeep.com. Theskindeep.com. That's probably the best way to go.
Theskindeep.com.
Yeah.
It'll be pretty obvious how you play it.
So the website is where you can go for the Kickstarter campaign, and for the actual experience, it's theand.us.
Okay, that's a way to make it as challenging as possible.
Yes, we gotta make
Then
it
go to
challenging.
theand.us
Yeah.
us and play. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah.
Well, you want to come this weekend?
I want to come this weekend. I have to figure out babysitting situations.
9:30. 9:30.
7 p.m., 9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. Friday, Saturday, and then Sundays
Sundays
at 5.
I guarantee you're gonna do it.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Like,
Okay.
I'm willing to bet on it.
You are?
Yeah. Or like go binge on the. If you just watch a few of the videos,
Then I'll want
you'll
more.
binge knowing like, because you love talking about it.
Yes.
You love digging in. You love feeling that. You
Yes.
love engaging.
All of it.
So, and you're a great listener.
Thank you.
So, engagement. You know, I heard you telling the story about the breast. I mean, you love that. So I think.
It's a great story, that breast pump story.
Oh my God.
Anybody would love that story.
I like when
Yeah, that was a good part of the story. The end. Yeah. There was an arc,
there's an art there.
you know, and then it ended in a
Yeah.
good place. Yeah. Sometimes we have other people in this area. I'm not going to name any names. They just start a story and then it just falls. And it's
It
like
just
this.
Just like.
The story
I
just.
actually hate it when someone tells a story and there's no punchline.
I'm like, well, dude, that was 3
Like,
minutes
what-
of my life.
yeah.
I'm never getting
Yeah,
back.
you're like not bringing it back.
Now what? Just
Like
finish it.
story arc, please.
Yeah, anything. So you get it, dude. You have to come on and help me tell stories. Crime in New York City, yay! I'm super excited for this. It's been a long time since I've been this excited about something. So I want to go on. I want to come this weekend.
Yeah.
And figure out a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
Get some babysitting. Just come watch my kids for me. They're little. Like, how hard could that be?
Come on, you can actually bring them along. Let them just.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want the space between my two kids. That's actually.
Actually, you know what's awesome about this is that we have couples that came on like 2 weeks before their baby was born.
Oh, nice.
Then they came on a year later with the baby being born. And then last week they came on with the baby being on.
Really?
Yeah, so you can start seeing the progression. You know, you can start seeing like how these people's lives changing and how
Yeah.
they're. So it's not only like.
And how
by
long is
breath,
each one?
8 minutes, 12 minutes.
Okay.
You know?
So they're all doable. You can get through it.
Oh yeah, but you're gonna be binging tonight. You're probably not gonna get sleep. I mean, if you really do go check out one,
Yeah.
then you might be binging.
Okay, so I'm better off on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, to just start off
Okay.
for the experience.
It's hard for me to fully understand what it is until I go do it. So I'm gonna do
I think
it.
just to suck you in first, it's just
Yeah.
go to the YouTube channel, watch one. If that sucks you in, and me
Then I'll be there
what's
this
up with this.
weekend.
Then you, yeah.
Okay. You guys come watch it. It's at BAM, the Brooklyn.
You guys are not welcome.
You guys can't come.
You guys can't come.
I
Only
can bring my kid.
I can come. You can't come. Connor.
All right.
Reverse psychology, is that what that's called?
Connor.
Of course.
Can Connor get a date there?
Connor's looking
Actually,
for
Connor,
friends.
if you come on a singles night, Saturday night, I guarantee we're gonna get you laid.
All right.
Oh, not just a date, dude. You're gonna get laid.
Laid,
That's
dude.
all I'm really looking for.
That's it, right?
Right?
So Saturday night,
Come
That's part of
ready.
the date with Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Saturday
the date
night.
with Connor profile.
9:30.
Yeah.
Saturday night,
I'm
9:30.
relationship.
Connor's
Things just get real.
All right.
coming. Are you guys coming? Just let
I'll-
us know. Send us a name.
I will. We'll go through
figure it
names
out.
for sure.
Actually, I had a quick question. Malcolm Gladwell had the book Blink. It was a guy Gottman.
I read half of that.
The guy
Totally.
from he did all of that stuff. Like he had the Mathematics of Marriage. That book.
Well, I think what his thing was, like, you could tell within the first 15 or 45
Right.
seconds how the relationship is, and it's really how is there any condescension? You know, how do they deal with conflict, and is there any like condescension between the two of them? And I think that one thing, look, what I've learned from watching 150 couples together talking is that the heart is built to love, it's made to love. Like that's all it wants to do. And yet the mind has like rules that like limits, like, oh no, but she has to be Jewish, or she has to be like this, and he has to be not fat and tall and short and all these are from here. And like basically the heart just wants to love. And it's trying
That's
to
really
find its
sweet.
way through like a maze, and then it gets out of your own fears and vulnerabilities and your own rules. Then it gets out, and then it's in a society of stigmas and rules, and then it finally tries to find another yearning heart. Watching all these couples in the end, you're like, wow, we all have our own rules. What are the rules that are limiting my ability to connect with another heart?
Right.
How can I get rid of those rules? And I learned the distinction between like rules and values. You know, like values like integrity, honesty, you know, commitment to like working through challenges. But rules are like she has to be like this, or he has to be from here, or here. Like, what is it more important that she's Jewish, or that you want to have like a family that's integrated?
Yeah.
You know, so like start noticing, make a distinction between rules and values, because the less rules we have, the more ability to love. And the only way I got this was like watching the intimate space of 150 other couples.
Okay, so I would love that if we ever clip the show and send out portions of the show and said this is what the show's about.
Yeah,
The way you just described
yeah.
what the heart wants and how the head gets in the way is the most beautiful description of human yearning and desire I have ever heard in my entire life. I mean, bless you for being able to put words to something that is so ridiculously complicated.
I really
cannot
hope
wait.
the sound is working well.
Yeah, so do I.
If not, we'll have to have you back.
I mean, so do I.
Well, we have a stop motion I can send you that you guys can post if you want.
Yeah, I would love to.
That's beautiful and like basically says that message.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're trying to build this Wikipedia, man, of human being.
Well, I think it's great, and I'm 100% on board, and I'm 100% ready to check it out, and I'm going to go tonight, and I can't tell you how cool it is that you're sort of doing something on uncharted waters, and I think it's amazing. I check out his Kickstarter campaign because
I just actually a note for you. I have a stiff neck. Jasmine's not here. You see
Yeah.
Jasmine? You might want to hang around. Jasmine is our next guest. Is actually the sex columnist, relationship columnist at
for the New York Observer.
Okay.
But you don't.
I know you have to
I
go.
think I have to. But yeah, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I'm kind of a rock star.
Yeah,
Just
you
say
are
it.
awesome.
I'm kind of a rock star. Like, you don't have to beat around the bush. I'm kind of fucking amazing.
You are fucking amazing.
Right? Like, let's all just marinate in that for 1 second.
How long, marinate?
Marinate, and we're good. Although on the whole 30, we're not going to be able to use too many marinating. I'm going on a diet on the October 23rd.
Oh,
if
you
I
are?
tell, well, not a real diet. I'm trying slang for 30 days. I like to get everybody involved. You know, the world.
Oh, you getting them invited?
Yeah.
I've put the invitation
I've lost
in.
35 pounds on her diet.
I
You
wrote
have?
a book. He went on, followed the diet of my book. He lost weight. He looks amazing. We're very
Really?
happy for him. But now I'm trying something new. I'm the attention span of like a vagina. Like, I just want to try new things all the time and different things.
Wait, attention span of vagina? I've never heard that.
I know, I just made it up.
You just made it up now?
Yeah.
I like it.
He likes it. This is like the
It's
relationship
gonna
guy.
be tagged.
Tag it.
Right.
Attention span of a
Tag.
vagina.
Oh, I like
I just
that.
figured, what is the vagina? Nothing. They have like the smallest attention span. It could
Well,
be
actually,
that,
I know
but-
something that has a smaller
Yeah.
attention
I know
span.
something that's even smaller
But
one
I
than
wasn't
that,
gonna
but
go
who
there.
That's amazing, dude. Awesome. And these aren't leather pants, because I'm sure you guys were like, oh, that guy must be so hot in the leather pants. This is Topaz, Jesus, all the cheeses. And he is an amazing film director, and he's onto something big. And 5 years from now, I guarantee you, we will speak again, our paths will cross, and we're going to say, remember when you started some weird show that's now huge, and I started this weird relationship thing that is now like gigantic, and it's going to be great because we have passion for something, and we're just going to do it. Right? Like, buck the system. Just go do it. Just go do exactly what you know in your heart of hearts is going to be something that's going to change the landscape of relationships and human interaction and the way we watch and the way we follow. And I'm really excited for you.
Wow.
Yeah. Why'd you date her? Date me. I mean, 15 years ago, I was fully dateable.
Fully dateable.
Yeah, I mean, of your species, of your kind. And then I was over the men, and then I was onto something different. Yeah, because I got bored.
Right.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'll go back. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're gonna put on here where you can follow it all, and people are gonna go check it out, and you'll come back.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know about this weekend.
Please.
Yeah. If you guys have a babysitter, please come babysit my kids. Go find mine. Good.
I'm good.
All right,
I'm
let's take a
staying
break.
live.
I think Jasmine's actually.
Take a picture. Oh, Jasmine.